Hello, I'm Amber. I'm Amber L. Hall, photographer, and thank you so much for buying my new book called Celebrations. I thought as a thank you that I might take you on a quick journey and show you the behind the scenes of one of the shots that I've put in the book. And the shot that I'm going to show you the behind the scenes is this one. My gimbal's doing the wrong way. Is this one? Come back, gimbal. Yes, I'm here. Right? This shot in the book. It's the Wild Fairy Pond, and it's one of my favourite places. It's up a creek that I'm not going to name because no one goes there, and I like to keep it that way. Whenever I go there, I don't see a single piece of plastic, and that's what I like. There's a lot of places in the wild that are getting ruined because of people's negligence, carelessness, and general crap. So I want to take you on a journey behind the scenes. I want to show you what's involved with taking this shot, not all shots, but this shot. And as a special treat, Coda decided to come for a walk. Coda is my little dog. In December, he almost died of kidney failure because he got poisoned by leptospirosis bacteria in a creek, and it was only his strength of spirit that brought him through. So it's a year, almost a year, 10 months down the track, and this is his biggest walk, and he made it up and back. But please enjoy the journey. It's quite meditative. It's very beautiful. One of my favorite places. And at the end, I show you basically how I transformed the image as taken in camera to the image that you see in the book and on my website. Thank you. Bye. Enjoy. Coda and I are going for a walk. We're in search of a beautiful waterfall. The creek that we're walking up at the moment has dried out. It's an inland creek. I better get going. He's moving on ahead. So the beautiful rocks that we see here are red and green jasper, and we see heaps of flood debris here too, exposed roots and logs upended. That was from a rain event about a year ago, and it's devastated a lot of inland creeks and waterways. And as I pick my way through the rocks here, you can see how beautiful it is just to walk here, even when the water's very, very low. It's just lovely. The moment of humility. Under we go. This is where we trust. This is where we trust. Not sure about this one-handed caper. Look at that beautiful walk. Okay. Ready. You're all right. Trust yourself. Just swim. Swim. Do you want me to help you? All right. Hang on. Hold your horses. Let's turn this off. So one thing I'm doing is constantly checking the histogram, because I don't want to be clipping any whites. If the histogram's clipping any whites, I need to bring down the exposure. If you're clipping the whites, you're losing information. Rightio, here we are in Lightroom. The image of the wild fairy pond as taken in camera. Now I do shoot in RAW as opposed to JPEG. RAW carries a lot more information, so when you're editing in Lightroom or Photoshop or whatever program you use, it can bring up a lot more detail. Now even though the histogram here, so this area here is shadows to the left, this is the midground, and this is the highlights. Even though the histogram isn't showing that some of the whites have been clipped, I can see here that in fact some of the whites have been clipped, which is a sign of overexposure in these two spots. So what I'm going to do is bring down the highlights a little bit until that clipping disappears. And you can see it's actually quite a dark shot, and I like that. I wanted that because I do want the mystery of the pool to remain a little bit unseen, but it's a little bit dark, so I'm going to bring up the shadows a little bit. I don't want to do them too much because it's just going to get messy like that, but I'll bring them up a little bit, and then I'm going to play with it in Photoshop. Now there's a couple of things here. There is a rock ledge under here which is covered in green slimy stuff, and it's not very pretty, so I'm actually going to blur out the foreground. I'm going to keep this section here beautiful and contrasty, and this background here that's a little bit scrubby, it's just a bit messy. There's nothing interesting to look at, and it's taking away from the image. So I'm going to blur that in Photoshop. I'm going to bring up the vibrancy in the rocks here. These rocks are red jasper. I'm going to bring these up in Photoshop, or I'll do it in Lightroom, but I'll finish everything up in Photoshop, and you'll see the finished product, which is this. So we can see I've brought up the vibrance. I've blurred the background, and I've blurred the foreground, and I've brought up some of the colour here, and you can see it's very crisp. And of course I put my logo on it. So I like that. I like it because it's the blurring of the foreground and the background brings the eye really sharply into this area here. Even though the lines, so we've got some leading lines here, they do bring you into the centre. But the blurring, the bokeh effect in the front, foreground and background helps bring the eye into the centre where the waterfall is. So you can see that the original here is actually quite cool. There's a lot of blues in it. And even though I had the white balance on my camera set to auto, which I usually do, it's still quite blue, quite cool. Not really what I wanted. I wanted warmer, so I have warmed it up in Photoshop. I think it's beautiful, and it's certainly got the mysterious and warm feeling that I wanted for this little waterfall that has a very, very much drying out creek. That snoring in the background, by the way, is Coda. Funny. Okay, so how was that? Fun? Hope so. Look, thank you again. Thank you so much for buying my book, Celebrations. Celebration. I really hope you love it when you get it in the mail. Now, before I go, there's one thing that I really, really, really want to thank you for, and that is for taking pride in regional New South Wales and regional Australia. It's a beautiful area. Guys, let's protect the wild areas. Let's protect nature. Let's do a little bit better than what we're doing, eh? All right. Hope you love the book, Celebration. It is a celebration of many things, including beautiful, wild nature. Have an awesome week.